Salveta. Today we need to talk about something different, and it's actually kind of cool. Something called participles. Now you may have heard about participles in your English class, but for a lot of people they really come to understand participles and what they are and how they work in their world language class. Participles are part verb and part adjective. Participles. That's a good way to remember it. We also call them verbal adjectives because they're verb forms that function like adjectives. Now take a look at these three sentences. Copy them into your notes and underline the adjective in each sentence. Pause the video while you do. You should have underlined tall, fast, and running. The tall girl won the race, the fast girl won the race. Everybody knows that tall and fast are adjectives. They describe girl. Now, running is a little bit different. It describes girl, but run is clearly a verb. It's a big action verb. And it's a participle. Running is a participle. It's part verb, but it functions like an adjective, so it's part adjective too. In Latin, we want to set up a chart that has active and passive columns and present, perfect, and future rows. And you're going to want to leave maybe 3 or 4 lines of space between each of those rows. And you say, well, this kind of looks like verbs. Well, it does, because remember, participles are part verb. So they're going to have active and passive voice forms, and they're going to have the different tense forms, present, perfect, and future. Now, this is kind of nice. Put a big red X for present passive. There just is no such thing. It doesn't exist in the language, so we're never going to learn it. The same thing for perfect active. There is no perfect active participle. And when it comes to the future passive participle, well, you can just write second year. We get into that in second year Latin. So the only 3 we actually have to focus on are present active, perfect passive, and future active. And as it turns out, you already know one of those. The perfect passive participle, you may recall, is simply the 4th dictionary entry. So think about it. Porto, portare, portavi, portatus. Video, videre, vidi, visus. Right? The 4th dictionary entry is the perfect passive participle, and it's translated having been blank. Now we want to take a look at the present active participle. You're going to recognize the present active participle because it ends with an NS or has an NT in the middle and is followed by 3rd declension endings. Now notice where you put the dash there. Notice I just have dash NS. That means NS on the end of the word. So if it has NS on the end of the word, it's a present participle. Notice that NT has a dash on either side, so that means it's in the middle of the word somewhere. And if you find a word with NT in the middle, followed by 3rd declension endings, that's a present participle, and it's translated into English using the suffix ing, ing. Then finally, there's the future active participle. It's going to be the 4th dictionary entry with a UR in the middle of it. Think future has UR. Well, so does the future active participle. It has a UR stuck in the middle, and it's going to mean about to blank. Now, if all that seems a little confusing, we need to pull it together with an example sentence. So copy the following into your notes. Dux vincanes a militibus laudatus et ad Italiam navigaturus ab inimico interficiebatur. Copy that sentence and underline the 3 participles. Go ahead and identify each one. So which one is the present active, which is the perfect passive, and which is the future active. Pause the video while you do so. We should have underlined vincanes, laudatus, and navigaturus. Let's start off with vincanes. You should have seen that NS on the end, and that's a dead giveaway that that one is the present active participle. Let's jump to the end. Navigaturus. The UR should have been the dead giveaway clue there, telling you that it's a future active participle. Now, laudatus might have been actually a little harder to recognize, even though we've talked about it before. You would have to remember that it's from the fourth part of laudo. Laudo, laudare, laudavi, there it is, laudatus. That's the perfect passive participle. All right, using your notes, see if you can translate that sentence. Pause the video while you do. You should have come up with the conquering general, having been praised by the soldiers and about to sail to Italy, was killed by a personal enemy. And those are the participles that we're going to talk about in first year Latin. Waleta.